The penultimate round of the FORL Cup Series begins tonight at the Dover Motor Speedway, and as you can see, the 1 mile circuit comes alive once again. This time, the round of 7, its first race opening here and now, as we welcome you all to the Dover Downs 130 qualifying on the move. As it stands, Alex Jones finds himself the fastest man by less than 1,000th of a second. Chance Parker fighting up there too, and Henry Kaloff rounds out the top 3 as it stands. In regards to timing and scoring, it's a close race up in front. 9 drivers have taken the time to this point, the last of which, as it stands, Dustin Pickle in the number 21. Drivers still taking times as we get things going tonight, so great to have you all live again on FTN. I'll be your host for tonight's broadcast, David Troy, commentating and producing, and as we get the racing going here in Delaware, sure to see a fast and fun event, not a short track, but it is a quick track, and that's a for certain. 1 mile circuit done in about 24 seconds at the most, and it looks like right now Michael Deitch going to be taken to the track in number 57, Hendrick Carr's Chevy Camaro. And his Chevy Camaro has come alive as of recent. Many drivers you didn't see in the very beginning of the season really running up there. Now they're making their moves. And we've seen guys like Alex Jones making time. You saw him win last week in Kansas. It was a thrilling event, and it came down to the wire. It was a hell of a finish, and it all came down to Alex Jones swooping under 3 wide wreckage. Tonight, we're hoping to see a bit more clean racing all throughout, and Dover, pretty challenging to make passes happen. It's a sweeping track. The banking is extreme no matter where you go, and you'll see even down the straightaways, a little room for error. You've got to stay on it all night long from start to finish, and Max Molina now making it onto the circuit. As we mentioned, round of 7 nights, so it's going to be only 7 drivers remaining in the championship battle. And I'll tell you this much, we know all the names that are going to be going for the championship this season in the FORL Cup Series. Jacob Wilkerson, Andrew Cootie, Max Molina, and Joey Stone coming to the night. They are above the cut line as it stands. They are at least 3,005 points respectively, and tied for the final spot right now, Ethan Workman and Alex Jones, 5th and 6th on the order. Henry Kaloff finds himself 7th and last right now. Those are your 7 drivers for tonight's event, and you'll see right now Joaquin Stewart going on the track, not to mention James Thurston also on the circuit. Thurston, not a championship contender this season. However, he is in this event still chasing victories here as number 4 Ford Mustang regrouping for next year in 2024, hoping to fight for a title. Brandon Rismiller's also on the track right now, and Rismiller's number 95 Toyota Camry makes it out of the board for the first time tonight. Drivers are still taking their first laps, looking at about 17 drivers registered, and it should come down to about 16 of which racing. Joaquin Stewart is in this event tonight, and whether or not Zach Milano will be racing, that is to be determined. So we'll see whether or not some of our admin team decides to come out to the track in Delaware and take a chance for a potential solid run. The night is young here with 5 minutes remaining on the board, and you'll see right now Brandon Rismiller on the move with the number 95 machine. James Thurston takes it up to 5th in the qualifying charts, and just like that, his first lap is done and done. Looking to make some gains here, just 1/10 of a second under your pole position time. Looking to get that top spot in qualifying. Thurston's going to ride the bottom seam, looking much quicker this time through, and if he comes off of turn 4, a bit loose that time, but good enough for what looks to be the pole position. James Thurston takes fastest time by 34 1,000ths of a second, and Thurston's on top, the number 4. Brandon Rismiller going to be 7th right now. Brandon jumps up big, and Joaquin Stewart's going to have to settle for 12th with a blown motor, and his qualifying run, it's already done. Thurston's taking extra laps as it stands and waiting right now on Bryce Hamrick, Zach Milano, and Joey Stone. Now, Bryce will not be racing in this event. Zach may not be racing. Joey Stone is a definite. He's one of the drivers in the round of 7. You can't miss a race, especially this late in the season, because the gap between first and last in their remaining playoff standing is only 25 points. That's about a race's worth of spread between 7 drivers. And right now, you don't have to be first in the point standings. You could be as low as 4th and still have yourself a shot. Joey Stone makes it on the track this time by, and the Ancient World number 8 back again in his traditional blue coloring. Now, Justin Mons has been running well past few weeks. He's not in the session tonight, so it looks like Justin will not be with us, while Joey Stone up to keep the fight going for a title. Now, Mons is not championship eligible for the remainder of the season. Joey Stone still is, and the time to beat right now is James Thurston's 23.051. Thurston is the fastest man on the board. Joey Stone's going to take it across the start-finish line and get things moving for his first laps here in qualifying. And riding on board right now with Joey Stone's number 8, you're looking at how he's going to barrel through the back straightaway, and the banking, it is much higher than that of almost any other oval down the straightaways. And then you take it through those curves, and you are flying through almost foot flat on the throttle all the way around this 1 mile circuit. Making it down to the bottom here, he's going to cut low, and Stone going to qualify 15th. If that was his only lap, he's still got one more attempt cooking, and as they come through this time by 15th place, he's going to be in solid. And now with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left, the Dover Downs 130 might come down to Joey Stone, making some moves here in qualifying. He's much quicker than before, gets a little loose, and at the line, it's a 23.238. Good enough for 15th. Looks like he will not be able to get a final lap validated. As a result, Joey Stone starting at the back of the field, and I believe that's going to be the final driver to take a time tonight, as it looks like already the rest of your field is off the circuit. Zach Milano and Bryce Hamrick will not be racing tonight. Joaquin Stewart, however, will be making an attempt, which means 15 drivers at the moment are in the field for the Dover Downs 130, and qualifying by that same token is already concluded, and now we got to find out who is going to be starting up in the front of the field for tonight's event. This is race number 18, and we've made it this far. There's still a ways to go in the championship chase, but we're deep into the overall season, and now time to find out who's starting up in front for tonight's event. Miles the Monster and the Dover Motor Speedway welcome the FORL Cup Series, and without further ado, this will be your starting grid for the Dover Downs 130. Dover, Delaware, are going to see James Thurston, the fastest man on the board, with a 23.051, the fastest time by 34 one-thousandths of a second. Then from there, Alex Jones by 1,000th of a second grabs the final spot in the front row, puts himself there, the 045 machine, into the second spot with a 23.085. 1,000th back, as we mentioned, Chance Parker going to be in third, and the fourth spot is held by Henry Kaloff with a 23.162. Max Molina rounds out the top 5, and he's only 3,000ths of a second back on row 2. Outside of row 3 is going to be Andrew Cooney there with a 23.205. Brandon Rismiller dead even there for 7th, and it's Jacob Wilkerson then in 8th. Position 9 going to be occupied by Ethan Workman, and Lander Tauro rounds out the top 10. Then from there, it's going to be Dustin Pickle in the 11th spot with a 23.284, and Joaquin Stewart, league owner here in the FORL Cup Series, not too far behind, rounds out the top dozen. Michael Deitch going to be the man to start the Baker's dozen in the 13th position with a 23.374, and the number 57 machine there going to be right beside Ross Corlette's number 91. Corlette, one of the drivers not able to make it through in the round of 7 this season. Looks like it's going to end before the final 4, unlike the season prior. So for the number 91 machine, Ross Corlette there in 14th with a 23.497, and Joey Stone rounds out the top 15, concluding it with a 23.501 run in his number 8 AncientWorld.GG machine. Then from there, Hunter Bogdan's going to be starting in the 16th spot, 23.504 for the driver, the 00 machine, final driver to take a lap in qualifying, and for Bogdan, he puts himself there, 16th and last of which of the drivers set to make an attempt for tonight's event. Joaquin Stewart, as we mentioned, will be racing tonight, as opposed to, of course, making it race control. So the number 79 machine will be there in 12th, while his admin friends, Bryce Hamrick and Zach Milano, will be registered in 17th and 18th respectively. Number 94 machine is going to be inside and Zach Milano outside, however, both of which will not be racing. So with that said, this is your starting grid for the Dover Downs 130, the opening race of the round of 7. Qualifying has concluded, and now to your main event. And with qualifying all but done already, you'll see the starting grid in line for 130 laps. James Thurston and Alex Jones make up the front row. The Red Hall Alex Jones tries to keep it up in front after his first career victory coming through at Kansas, and it looked like James Bomar or Max Molina or Joey Stone would have had a shot, but it looks like for Alex Jones, he not only played the strategy well enough to stay inside the podium, but avoided all the chaos, and sometimes wreck avoidance is all you need to get that victory at the end of the day. FORL Cup Series tends to be quite chaotic, automatic when push comes to shove. However, Dover's a challenging track to really get it on because there's not a lot of room for more than 2 wide racing. They might seem wide, but with that banking in mind, you're coming through a corner and you're always on the banking no matter what, so it's very difficult to keep aggression for several laps in a row. 130 laps on the table, and we'll see whether or not we get ourselves a long green flag run, find ourselves with maybe a bit more of a yellow flag filled race as it was at Kansas late in the going. Maybe tonight a mix of both. Not done just yet. James Thurston and Alex Jones will be the front row for tonight's event. First and second, the 4 and the 045. Third place then going to be Chance Parker in qualifying, and Henry Kaloff then in fourth. And these drivers are littered throughout the field. Your best of the rest. Well, I'll tell you this much, those 7 that have made it up this far, they're still in championship contention. The final 4 will be decided in 2 weeks' time, and then we'll find out who, of course, wins the championship. And from there on out, the end of Season 3 will bring a new come 2024 for another action-packed season in the FORL Cup Series. James Thurston rides on the back bumper of the iRacing official pace car, 2 laps to green as Thurston leads the field. And now as we get things going here from Dover, we got a little bit of time before all is said and done. So how's about we get ourselves a bit of a virtual track walk as the drivers begin to pull away from our camera? How's about we get in reverse in just a moment's time and take us all around for a virtual trip here in Dover. Now, the track, of course, occupied by the drivers who are coming through turns 3 and 4 very soon, and you'll see them right here. The Monster Mile with the banking high not only through the corners, but also down the straightaways. The iRacing official pace car still leads the field. There's Thurston and all the remainder of the pack, and you'll see as we get higher and higher here, Dover, it's considered a self-cleaning racetrack, and the reason is these drivers, no matter what, have to fight with that skew down to the bottom. You end up spinning off a corner, you will be sliding all the way down to that apron, and there's so little room to save it, you might as well consider it done. You don't want to make that contact, but in most cases, you end up doing so no matter what. The straightaways are real solid here for most of these guys, and then you take it down to the corners 1 and 2. Going to be that big shock as the field comes in for the first time, rushing underneath the grandstands. You'll see just above the fans littering the field. And now start-finish line just ahead of us as well. That's the virtual trip around Dover as we take it back this time by Thurston is ready. And James Thurston, advantageous up in front of the field. The iRacing official pace car set to let loose this time by, and with 130 laps on the table, we'll see what the number 4 machine can do to separate himself. He's been in a bit of a slump after a heartbreak at Watkins Glen, and now wants to bring it all back together for at least one more victory to conclude Season 3. James Thurston getting on the bottom side, Alex Jones up top as the iRacing official pace car lets them loose. Here we go again. Welcome to the Dover Motor Speedway. It is green, green, green in the Dover Downs 130. Coming across the stripe, James Thurston still advantageous. He has himself there with 0.6 of a second to spare with Alex Jones not too far back. Then from there, Chance Parker going to be third, and from there on out, Henry Kaloff going to be in fourth. Right on board with Thurston here as he continues to lead the way. Taking laps on board early with James Thurston here leading the way. He's got himself a good lead so far of over 1 second. Alex Jones now going to be in the runner-up spot. Chance Parker then third, and Henry Kaloff going to be in fourth. That's how they roll to kick things off as Joaquin Stewart is already 2 laps down. Looks like the racing attempt for him did not go all too well. We'll see whether or not Joaquin's got what it takes to return, but right now, no chance at chasing down our leader. That's just the way they run. So far, so good. Alexander Schumacher going to be in the chat, and we're hoping for a great race as well. The SRL Cup Series concluding a fantastic season, and it was a great 2023 hopping on board with the FTN crew, and we're excited as ever for all our plans in 2024. Monday nights, that much more fun thanks to the SRL team as Hunter Bogdan finds trouble back of the field. Bogdan gets it going, looked to be a solo spin, and no caution going to fly as a result. So quickly, Hunter Bogdan gets things going after a minor miscue, and all is well in the back of the field. Up in front, though, the big advantage is James Thurston, who will lead now by over 1.5 seconds, and the rest of the field begins to fight each other. Max Molina and Henry Kaloff, and these two are on opposite sides of the spectrum. Coming into tonight, it's Max Molina with the big advantage in terms of points. He finds himself inside the Final Four, and if the remainder of the season plays out that way, he'll be set with a ticket to perhaps defend his championship, the one he won in Season 2, a dominant season then. He's had a bit more trouble being the dominant man throughout this season. However, he's still been a fantastic driver and always a threat for a race win, so don't count out net number 45 when push comes to shove. Molina still finds himself up in the front of the field, one man down to the bottom of the pack. Looks like that's going to be Lander Taro finding trouble, and after a fantastic run, pole position at Kansas last week, Lander Taro sees trouble, and as we mentioned, you get swept down to the bottom of the track, and that's it. Happens once again, and 8 laps in, the Dover Downs 130 sees another driver find themselves victim to Miles the Monster, as they call it here in the Dover Motor Speedway. Delaware are going to see a lot of clean racing right now, spread apart from the leaders on back, and the most close battle, well, it has to be between Max Molina right now and Chance Parker. Parker starting phenomenally in the early racing, of course, tonight. He started up front in the qualifying order, starting in the 3rd place, as a matter of fact, and now finds himself in 6th, and is going to try to run with this pack as they begin to make some moves for their sake. The championship drivers are making their way up. Current points leader Jacob Wilkerson, the rookie on the rise, is now finding himself just behind Max Molina, and the defending champion stays high while Wilkerson goes down to the bottom. And if there weren't any championship favorites, I say Jacob Wilkerson, if he's not the only, he'd be one of the top, because this number 43 team has been non-stop all season long, 20 points above the cut line as it stands, and right now a great place to be in for Wilkerson after a dismal performance in Kansas, one of his worst of the season. It was just outside the top 10 for Wilkerson. That's almost unacceptable for how fantastic he's been all throughout the tour otherwise. So Wilkerson right now going to be running in 3rd. Very good place to find himself as he gets things going a dozen laps in, and the number 43 continues to pull further and further ahead of his competition. It's Alex Jones right now in 2nd, finds himself there with about 0.8 of a second to spare, and right now it's James Thurston leading the way, 12 laps in, heading down to 13. Baker's dozen already going to be a big lead for Thurston, and sometimes when James Thurston gets that lead, he runs away, and he does it quite well. Now we're looking at Chance Parker and Andrew Cootie fighting each other. Andrew Cootie knows a thing or two about James Thurston's dominance, but he also knows he can get right by. Cootie, his most recent victory in the FORL Cup Series, came at the Watkins Glen International Circuit, where it was a last 2-lap dash that came down to the wire between Cootie and Thurston, and Andrew Cootie, after leading nothing all race long, got by on the only mistake James Thurston made. He went way wide into turn 1, got a penalty, and then went Andrew Cootie. And just like that, he won his 3rd race of the season and keeps himself in the championship fight, whereas James Thurston, not so much. So that's the difference between a win and a 2nd place. However, Andrew Cootie remembers the first time Thurston won this season, he won by 15 seconds, and it was not a full green flag race, but in the final run under green, Thurston pulled 15 seconds minimum on the field, and I believe under 10 drivers finished on the lead lap. I believe it came down to 7 in specific. That's how dominant James Thurston can get. If he's dialed in and he knows his setup, he knows his car, it's very hard to beat that number 4, who's already so far out ahead. He's not even in frame. This is 3rd place Jacob Wilkerson, 2nd place Alex Jones, and you don't see the number 4 of James Thurston, who is just barely in the same camera frame as we switch it from the first perspective to the 2nd. Here we go back to Alex Jones. He's now 2.5 seconds off. But for Jones, he already has that race victory he's coming back off of, so to open up the round of 7 here ahead of all his championship competition, very good place to be, and 0.6 of a second ahead of Jacob Wilkerson. However, that time by he was slightly slower. No big deal in terms of how much he's losing, but the big point is that he is indeed losing time. So that's the takeaway to keep up with right now with the number 43 machine of Jacob Wilkerson making more time up. It might just be a much bigger battle between the number 43 and the number 045, as the 45 itself of Max Molina lies right behind, and that's when the numbers become a bit tricky. It's Molina, Wilkerson, Jones fighting to be in the podium. Ethan Workman makes it by Henry Kaloff, and Ethan Workman's now going to be the 5th spot driver. Henry Kaloff fades back to 6th, while Chance Parker is going to be now letting Andrew Cootie by for the 7th spot. Ross Corlette's going to see a battle right behind him, Joey Stone and Michael Deitch, and for Joey Stone, who started inside the final fortnight, not where he wants to be, as some early troubles here in Dover have not given him a fair shot up in front. Now, Joey Stone nearly had himself a victory at Kansas instead of Alex Jones. Had there not been a caution with 3 laps to go, it was all said and done that Joey Stone would have had that win, as opposed to Alex Jones just barely squeaking through in double overtime. Jones was set up for a 2nd place finish, and Joey Stone playing the strategy well and meticulously examining every lap until the final segment seemed to be on pace for a walkaway win. Didn't play out that way. That caution changed everything, and as a result, it was Joey Stone who ended up finishing outside of the top 5 with troubles late in the going, and now wants to push back for another shot in victory lane. You'll see Ross Corlette's now going to be in the 8th slot. Chance Parker is going to be in 7th, and they're all largely spread out, and this is often the type of racing we see at Dover. Long green flag runs. Very similar in one sense to what we saw at Richmond, the regular season finale, where drivers got away from each other, and for the most part, we're not all too close, no matter what. Battles are very hard to sustain at Dover, much like they are at Richmond. Unlike the fact that Richmond has every line working, there's really only one that you can work with here in Dover. That bottom side, most often, is king. Now, Workman's going to send it down to the bottom side and try to make something happen here in Molina. And you'll see, even as he rides up high, he has much more momentum going into the middle of the corner, and the exit is only where Max Molina can get anything out of it. Everywhere else, not so much. And he's going to lunge deep. Ethan Workman does nearly clear that time by, and it looks like he's got it. And that bottom side plays in his hand just like that. Workman makes another spot up. Max Molina is going to be 5th right now. Henry Kaloff 6th. Chance Parker 7th. Ross Corlett 8th. And Joey Stone is going to be 9th, with Michael Deitch position number 10 and Andrew Cootie then in 11th. 24 laps in, that's the way they roll. Joaquin Stewart has come back to the session, but does not look like he'll be racing for the remainder of the night. He's 16th as it stands and 22 laps down, so it looks like, unlike what we expected, Joaquin Stewart will not be with us for the remainder of this event. Andrew Cootie right now is going to be in 11th. Brandon Rismiller going to be 12th, and Dustin Pickle is in 13th, with Lander Taro, the final man on the lead lap. He's 12 seconds behind your leading driver, and he finds himself 14th as it stands. That's the way they roll, with James Thurston having a 3.5 second advantage over Alex Jones, and he is still gaining about 1/10 of a second each and every lap. So he's still as consistent as it gets, and consistently quicker. James Thurston stays advantageous, with Alex Jones running in 2nd spot, Jacob Wilkerson in 3rd, Ethan Workman in 4th, and Max Molina then in 5th. Top 5 right now separate by nearly 6 seconds, and going to continue to grow as the day goes on. 26 laps in at a 130, and the Dover Downs 130 has given us clean racing already, and just like that, on our way in the first segment of the night, nearly 1/5 of the way through, and not much trouble all throughout the field. A few beats and bang. Hunter Bogdan spun once, now finds himself the final man in the field. He's going to be 15th, and he's 1 lap down. As things keep going, it is going to be Bogdan 1 down, rest of the field on the lead lap, and that's the way they go. 27 laps in, but someone here is in their own zip code, and that's James Thurston. He's the only driver that's lapped Hunter Bogdan to this point. Alex Jones is just now getting up to the 00, and that's the gap between Thurston and Jones, and that's a big example because there's already Bogdan, who's 1 lap down, but he's ahead of the rest of the lead lappers, and right now he's getting put down by the 2nd place driver, and the rest of the field still has to follow. A huge advantage right now for James Thurston as he holds on and holds the field at a standstill. I mean, 4 seconds in 29 laps. He's gained more than 1/10 of a second each and every lap so far. And it's a fantastic way to kick off a night. Thurston dominant already, and this is one of those nights where it's going to be very hard to usurp him, because if he gets that good start and keeps things moving, it's going to become that much more of a challenge to block that momentum that's already in place. Now, the rod car number 91 comes off the corner, chasing down Kaloff. This is the battle for 8th, and Henry Kaloff having some struggles early here, and Andrew Cootie is going to be behind it, but the majority of the final 7 drivers in this playoff run, they're still ahead of this 63. So Kaloff not so far having the night he's wanted, and he'll have to pull things together if he wants any better opportunity at making points up in the championship outlook, because he's 7th coming into the night. He needs to gain points on at least 3 drivers, and right now it looks like he's only doing so on 1. Andrew Cootie being that one man, and right now Andrew finds himself firmly inside the final 4. He can afford one weaker night. However, for this number 63 of Henry Kaloff, he needs to be strong no matter where they go, no matter when they race. The rest of the season has to be phenomenal for any opportunity at a championship victory. James Thurston knows this, and he knows how it feels when he's racing up in the front of the field. However, tonight, not for a title. He's still here chasing victories either way, and Thurston's going to be up there 4 seconds ahead of the field as it stands. How's about this time we take a lap on board with Alex Jones, as he has Jacob Wilkerson right behind him. 1 lap on board with your second place driver, Alex Jones, for Jaw Racing. And you can see right now as we ride on board with Alex Jones, even though Jacob Wilkerson was making up big time beforehand, for the most part, these two have leveled out. And right now, they're running about 7/10 of a second apart, and it's been like that for the past 15 laps. So Alex Jones not in a place to worry right now, and that's the thing about Dover. It'll also equalize you as the night goes on. Very hard to keep pushing consistently. You gotta be a fighter every lap if there's any chance to be aggressive, and that aggression, very challenging to be persistent about. So 35 laps in, everyone really settling into where they are right now, and they might have to deal with it for the rest of the night. If push comes to shove any further, that might just be the way it goes. Now Henry Kaloff's number 63 machine going to be fading back to the 10th place, and even though a top 10 night will be solid earlier in the season, right now you cannot afford to be outside that top 5 if you're a round of 7 driver, because he's fading further and further back, and the only driver who's now behind him in the final 7, that is Andrew Cootie. That round of 7 is very tight up at the front of the field. You've got Alex Jones, you got Jacob Wilkerson, you got Workman, Molina, and Joey Stone all together right now. Henry Kaloff really not going to be anywhere near them, and he needs to be for any chance to gain more points. To score points, you got to finish higher and a finish ahead of your competitors. That's where you really gain. Right now, I'm not seeing that out of Henry Kaloff, and he knows he'll have to pick that up if there's any chance at making something happen for the title. This team is determined to make something happen, though, and they've felt the confidence as of recent. They're fighting for a championship in the Saturday Night Truck Series exclusively on FTN as well, so they know a thing about fighting for a title, a thing or two that is, but tonight it's not the way you want to kick off a championship run. Kaloff's been solid as of recent, and of course Kansas was very chaotic, so the running order got shuffled big time, and Talladega most recently we had as our chaotic night to end the round of 15. We've seen some wild card races where anyone can come through, and while Kaloff has been solid, those are nights he really has to rely on to put himself in this situation with a buffer. He has no buffer, he's here, but he's got to keep on improving for any shot to go much further. 39 laps in at a 130. Kaloff fades back further to Brandon Rismiller. Brandon is going to be 9th right now. Ross Corlett is in 8th, and Ross right now is chasing Chance Parker. Take a look on board the number 91 machine as the Chevy Camaro chases down the Clorox Camry into turns 1 and 2. And Ross Corlette's reliance on that bottom groove keeps him in the fight, as you'll see Chance Parker, in an attempt to save tires, is going to stay in the middle groove, and Ross Corlette, from more than a tenth of a second out, takes the spot just like that. So really going to be easier on that bottom side no matter what, and Ross Corlette going to come from quite deep out and make the spot up in just 2 turns time. It's a rapid fire position change for Ross Corlette, and he'll make it up there into the 7th position without even making any difference in the field otherwise. It's a very quick move right there for the driver, number 91, and just like that, it's almost as if it never happened. Max Molina finds himself right now in the 6th spot. Joey Stone is going to be position number 5. Jacob Wilkerson is going to be in 4th. Then from there, Ethan Workman is going to be in 3rd. 2nd place is going to be occupied right now by Alex Jones, and you're going to see James Thurston is still that leading man. He's got nearly 6 seconds. Unbelievable. He's far up ahead, and as it stands, he'll try to keep it that way. The rest of the field is in their own zip code, and they're quite behind. Now, Michael Deitch comes through inside the pit road. The Lucas Oil pit barrier is going to be now occupied by 1 driver, Michael Deitch, and it looks like Andrew Cootie too. As Andrew makes it in, he's already 2 laps down in his pit stop, and is set to get back on his way right now. Michael Deitch makes his way in, and just like that, 44 laps in, at 130, Michael Deitch is down and in, and Lander Taro comes through, so does Dustin Pickle. Now you got pit cycles running, green flag pit stops with Jacob Wilkerson down and in. And the Burnt Rubber Racing Warehouse, number 43, also comes down to pit road at the same time. 45 laps in, and we got ourselves a pit cycle under green for the first time here in Dover. And we're all racing big shuffles and big developments while James Thurston continues to lead the way and is only making more time. Now, Alex Jones is going to be the 2nd place driver as it stands, 5.8 seconds back. Ethan Workman is going to come down to pit road, and looks like now the number 23 machine drops. Just like that, Workman is down and in for his first pit stop of the night, looking to be, as it stands, about a 2-stop strategy, the first of which just coming in here and now. Next up would be about lap number 95, the way we're looking at it. Thurston's in, race leader comes down and through, leaving Alex Jones out to become the race leader, and for the first time since Kansas, Alex Jones leading laps and still at the head of his class, the fastest of the round of 7 drivers so far tonight. Alex Jones has been the man. And right now, Alex Jones will lead. Multiple drivers came in. Max Molina, Ross Corlette, and so does Jones here and now. You'll see Corlette's going to be coming down to his pit stop, and it looks like his pit stall is now going to be occupied. You'll see Molina's going to make it through this time around. 45 machine is in. Alex Jones does indeed come through, and Joey Stone also rounds the bend to bring Chance Parker in as well. Now Henry Kaloff is going to take the lead, and he's hoping to get some bonus points, leading a lap or 2, and that time by, he just barely gets there. The number 63. Now the big man out in front. It's going to be the A-Game Chevrolet at the front of the field. Just like that, Kaloff gets the bonus, and it looks like his call is to make it down to pit road immediately, leaving Alex Jones right now on pit road as the official race leader after the fact, and James Thurston now coming through, led by lap machine Dustin Pickle, set to take that race lead back and takes it back quite easily. Now Kaloff comes down to pit road. He's still got more than 15 seconds to stay on pit road, so no matter what, the dominant man of James Thurston is set to get back up there and lead the way by the end of the 50th lap. Another man comes in, looks to be Max Molina coming through this time by, so Max having a bit more trouble than anticipated, and Max Molina comes down and in once again, and just like that, after the pit stop just a lap ago, Molina comes back for more. Just like that though, Thurston, your leader, dives under Hunter Bogdan, and the lap machine nearly gives him trouble. Luckily nothing else comes of it, and now Wilkerson and Ethan Workman also come through as a pair. Now it's going to be Workman leading from not long after, as it looks like now Workman's actually faded back. Michael Deitch is the man with Wilkerson, and a big shuffle in that regard, as we're seeing these packs are continuing to disperse. And Dover gives way to that much more green flag racing. Now keep this in mind, 50% fuel limit for the drivers, 5 tire sets are at our disposal. So these guys have a lot of opportunity to work with the tires in the case of long green flag runs being interrupted. So we could see some guys making changes if cautions were to come out. Could see some alternate strategy playing out given the limit on fuel. Some guys not going to want to risk it. Maybe some drivers going to go a bit longer. That's what it all came down to in Kansas, where we certainly saw our fair share of hard-fought battling toward the very end, not only in terms of the racing side by side, but also what it came down to was that fuel strategy and the tires as well. You got to make sure you're good to go to the very end on fuel and tire if you want to win a race. And right now, that's been a bigger aspect than ever before in the FORL Cup Series, that all aspects of the racing, not just being position to position, wheel to wheel, are that much more prominent. And just like that, James Thurston's got the strategy to beat as we keep things going here on a partly cloudy day in Dover. And it looks like now the clouds are continuing to dominate officially as it stands. It's a mostly cloudy day in Dover with a 70 Fahrenheit air temperature, 70 degrees that is, track temperature up to 75 degrees Fahrenheit, and they'll keep things rolling as it stands with James Thurston advantageous. And he's got nothing else to worry about here. The skies might not be clear, but the track is, and that's all he'll need to focus on. 54 laps in, out of 100. Closest battle on the racetrack right now goes back to Chance Parker and Max Molina right now. And though Molina is not actually the driver inside the battle, it's Andrew Cootie. It's a half second separating the number 9 machine from that number 42. And according to timing and scoring, less than half a second separating these guys at their closest. However, slowly but surely, they're moving a bit further apart. So this battle might not be the one to watch as the night progresses. Now, these machines all going to be more separate as the racing progresses under green, but we are still going to see our fair share of battling given the high stakes. The round of 7, the penultimate round before it all comes to a close in just a few weeks' time. So every spot matters, and if you can charge up there and take more spots, then you got to by all means. And as they come through lap after lap, Cootie and Max Molina, there are much different circumstances right now because Molina is now 3 laps down and looks to be locked in some sort of race in purgatory. And it looks like there's no way he'll get out of this one without at least being 1 lap down come the finish of this race. Henry Cowloff in a similar spot. He's 3 laps down as well, and really a bad spot to be in right now for this number 63, trapped on strategy, and that's going to make him fall out of contention, at least for now. Henry Cowloff far beyond the competition ahead of him, and that pit stop going to cost not only the 63, but the number 45 of Max Molina quite a lot in the long run. It's not only going to be this week that it impacts, but the remainder of the round of 7, and eventually it'll change. He'll be in that final 4 when all is said and done. James Thurston leads 58 laps in out of 130. So far, so good. All green flag racing so far in Dover as Thurston continues to lead at the line. And it's been Thurston dominant all night long. Early on, he had that pace, and ever since the drop of the green flag, he's kept it there. So nobody able to come at this number 4. Looks like tonight Dover has been his wheelhouse, and he's just kept it there in the first position for almost every lap so far. Nobody as quick, and he's continuing to make time. As a matter of fact, there's a 5.7 second advantage now on the new second place driver of Jacob Wilkerson. Alex Jones was running very well before the pit stop cycle. He still is in 4th, however, is going to lose a bit more time than he'd like to, understanding that he had a big advantage coming in, and it looks like now he's going to have to rely on a mistake from the drivers ahead of him for any chance to make time back up. Jones is going to be 4th. Ethan Workman is going to be 3rd. Second place, Jacob Wilkerson. By 6 seconds, James Thurston now nearly has the lead by that amount, and he continues to pull away as Ross Corlett now is set to battle with Joey Stone. Stone had some troubles early, but now finds himself in 5th off some strategy, and usually that finesse and strategy is where Joey Stone really comes up the ladder, and it's been his biggest advantage all year long, understanding the pit stop cycle better than almost anyone else in the field. So great to see for Joey Stone. He's been able to take that time and make those moves. He might not be the quickest driver on paper, but when the laps come down, it's all about where you are at that final lap and not about anything else. So he might be a little slower than some drivers who are behind him now, but it's the top 5 runs so far, and he's 4th of which in the round of 7. So he's right there on that cutoff once again, the bleeding edge of making it in. It is. That's 4th place. He'd love to get a bit more out of the night, but it's a great start to build that foundation and advance even further in the championship standings. So 5th place, Joey Stone will see the caution flag fly. Andrew Cootie the cause. First wreck of the night. Brandon Rismiller, Chance Parker involved, and the yellow flag is out for the first time here in Dover. And it's going to be a big caution, the first of which in nearly half of the racing. We've already gotten ourselves a long green flag run, but Andrew Cootie set to be the cause as long as he gets up there in the front of the field. He's usually able to get out of trouble, but it looks like tonight it might not be the case. Rismiller there with James Thurston. Thurston's going to drop in deep, and he's putting on some pressure here. Andrew Cootie going to see that number 4, and it looks like Thurston's going to tap Andrew Cootie, take him up the track, brings Rismiller with them, and your race leader not happy at all with those lap drivers, and he's going to take immediate action. Andrew Cootie's going to feel it. Chance Parker and Brandon Rismiller all do as well. Yellow flag is going to fly, and 64 laps in, James Thurston shows him what he's feeling. At the halfway point, we've got our first caution flag of the night. Now, Cootie's not going to be happy about that one, that's for certain, as he gets things going immediately thereafter. Yellow flag is going to fly. The number 9 machine, who is a championship-eligible driver, going to see a wrench thrown in the equation, and now he's going to have to battle with that damage all throughout the rest of the night. He's on the lead lap in the 10th place. However, 10th is not good enough right now, given where the rest of his competitors in the round of 7 are at the head of the field. So right now, Cootie's got to keep on gaining more and more. This is not enough. He'll just have to find more as the race goes on, as Joey Stone is going to be your race leader, with Ross Corlett now second. Jacob Wilkerson and Ethan Workman actually opted to go down a pit road that time by, and it looks like a few other drivers did as well. Dustin Pickle and Alex Jones going to make some changes. James Thurston is down a pit road himself, and it looks like the call is going to be made to bring that number 4 down and in. Whether or not it's penalty, we will see. However, he's been there for nearly 90 seconds, making us think he was indeed penalized for what just happened. Thurston going to be brought down a pit road and be put 1 lap down, if not more, as drivers come down a pit road this time by. It's going to be another cycle on the way. Ross Corlett, Dustin Pickle, Joey Stone, Chance Parker, Michael Deitch, Andrew Cootie, among others, who make it down a pit road this time by, as the fracture in strategy sees with 65 laps remaining. Big changes in our picture here in Delaware. As the racing changes, we've just gotten things started. It was a 60 on a lap run. Just like that, it's going to be our first race of the day. Of course, our only, getting a long green flag run. Now the rest of the race, it's up in the air. That caution, we did not expect it, but it looks like caution's going to come out after all. Now the question is, does this caution breed another, and do we see even more after that, or is this the one and only, and we stay green and stay clean from there on out? Coming through this time by 66 laps in out of 130, and already we see ourselves back under yellow, and almost halfway through, we've got ourselves a night to remember with some championship action. And right now, Wilkerson, who is your points leader, is your race leader at the same time. Molina and Lander Tower are set to get 1 lap back. Molina's going to get 1 back, and it'll be now only 2 laps down. Lander Tower is now going to be only 9 laps down. So these cautions are going to help out those lap machines as well. Keep that in mind, as so many of the field right now are at least 1 lap down. Looking at Michael Deitch, he's 8th right now and 1 lap down. So a lot of drivers sacrificing track position for strategy, and it looks like right now they're going to have to bank on the yellow flag. Deitch, Parker, Cootie, 1 lap down as it stands respectively. James Thurston is back on the track. He's just going to take a very long pit stop and line up just behind your leaders once again. So Thurston is not done, not in the slightest, and he'll keep fighting after that first incident of the day. Was leading at the time of the caution, and now hoping to lead again as things get rolling. 64 laps to go. It's going to be Wilkerson and Workman your front row. Alex Jones and James Thurston just behind. here we go again. Going to be a total of only 63 laps remaining, and it's going to be led now by Jacob Wilkerson and Ethan Workman as they head down to the start-finish line to get things going all over again. The Dover Downs 130 sees our race leader, the number 43 machine, right up top. Looks like he's going to be in full control on that high side, using that momentum to get the jump on our first restart of the day. Welcome back to business here in Dover. The first restart on the move from Delaware. And it's going to be a nice jump there for Jacob Wilkerson. All he's going to need is Alex Jones now takes it up to second. Thurston's going to wash up high there, and fourth place is where he currently runs. Number 4 machine going to have a bit of trouble getting things going, and the closer inspired number 4. Throwback to Kevin Harvick's days there at Richard Childress Racing, and the number 3 machine became the number 29. Kevin Harvick ran it for several successful years, more than a decade as a matter of fact, and James Thurston taking the inspiration from the Shell Pennzoil scheme he ran to win the 2007 Daytona 500 and brings it back for another race here in the FORL Cup Series. It's not quite Daytona though, and it is a track that starts with a D, but Dover, a much different track in its characteristics and its race length and its track lap distance. It's a only 1 mile circuit, so not all too long, and just after the 69 lap mark, James Thurston had a very nice lead. That's no longer the case, and now Jacob Wilkerson beginning to run away as a driver who's opened up both previous rounds with race victories looks to do so once again, keeping the streak alive. Jacob Wilkerson finds himself ahead of Alex Jones now by a total of 0.6 of a second, and Jones and Wilkerson were just about dead even on pace in the running on our first green flag cycle, and those two drivers were able to keep good pace with each other about the same lap after lap after lap, and it's now going to be a weave and a bob as the number 045 machine goes up to the top of the track. Wilkerson's going to see a much bigger lead. Brandon Rismiller slams the wall twice, and he's going to get things going as well as drivers begin to bounce off the walls. Literally speaking, Rismiller's going to see trouble, and Alex Jones is now going to have to defend even harder as pressure is mounting. You're going to see there the number 45 machine of Max Molina still in frame, but the 045 loses a spot or two as James Thurston takes it up the third. Ethan Workman now going to be in a second. Jacob Wilkerson is going to be now in first, and he's got it there, continuing to gain more and more. That clean air is a big deal tonight in Dover, and you'll see no matter who gets that lead, they're able to get that jump off the restart. That's the big key to their success. And now Wilkerson looking like James Thurston of the earlier laps, and with 57 laps to go, it's a continuous gain up in front as Jacob Wilkerson holds his number 43 machine at the top of the running order. Alex Jones going to be running in 5th, 0.4 of a second back. You're going to see he's right there on Joey Stone. Stone runs in 4th and is trying to get inside the podium. And while James Thurston finds himself, of course, not in the championship running, he's still looking for a win and felt oh so confident early about having that pace to win tonight. Just looks like right now might not be the case. Rismiller is going to see trouble once again, slowly but surely limping around the track, and that time by going to be at 2 seconds off of his average lap as he's going to see more trouble thanks to the damage he accumulated as he bounced off the wall multiple times, and it looks like mostly right side damage there for Brandon Rismiller. So luckily he'll keep things going, but it's going to be troublesome to continue as Rismiller now fades back into 12th in the field, 2 laps down, letting Max Molina by for 11th, and now James Thurston looking to get right back up there on Ethan Workman. This is the battle for second. Workman has it and Thurston wants it, but it looks like right now that number 23 machine able to hold on well enough to keep the fight alive as you'll see off the back bumper of Ethan Workman how fierce that pressure is. Thurston is looking for every angle, no matter where, up and down the track. James Thurston continues to look, and right now he's going to see that Joey Stone is going to get a bit loose and get out of the picture. Now the only priority in Thurston's mind is whether or not he can get back up here to where Ethan Workman is and maybe make the pass. It's going to be a big slingshot run down the back straightaway under the Dryden Bridge, and even though Thurston loses some time overall during that sector, setting himself up for a better lap ahead as the sun glimmers down the front straightaway. Thurston is getting back in distance. just enough range to get into the fight for the runner-up position. Workman is still there, and he's still holding on very well for his championship chances, but Jacob Wilkerson has run away, and so far 79 laps in, coming up on lap 80, he's got the advantage and is set to lead another, and now the 43 machine leading more and more up at the head of the field. Jacob Wilkerson advantageous as it stands. Now, Jacob Wilkerson's newfound race lead. The rest of the field is battling for different spots than before. You'll look right now in particular at a guy like Alex Jones. Jones is going to run in 5th, finds himself now fighting with Joey Stone, as Stone made a bit of a bobble last few laps around, and now that number 8 machine, while fighting for the podium before, now has to settle right now for 4th, and might have to defend a bit more to stay inside of the top 5, because Alex Jones is still chasing, and Jones is indeed part of that Final 4 as well. He's part of the Final 4 candidates, shall we say, inside the round of 7. So it's not done just yet for Joey Stone or Alex Jones either. They're fighting for the same reason, so they're going to have to race each other a bit tougher than the rest of the pack, as 82 laps in, nobody cutting any slack. And 82 laps in at a 130. All the action tonight on FTN, presented to you by our friends at Tango Paints, the highest quality iRacing graphic designers on the market for all your paint scheme and livery needs. Tango Paints provides all you'll need here on the iRacing platform, and in particular Joey Stone's beautiful number 8 machine, designed by the Tango Paints crew in collaboration with Ancient World. And we'd love to have you join the Tango Paints family. Their Twitter spelled with no spaces, no interruption. It's just Tango Paints. Told over to the entire Tango Paint team have created trusted iRacing paint schemes since 2021, and we'd love for you to check them out today. Prices start at $50, so check them out on Twitter. Once again, Tango Paints, as we'll bring you your first promotional break of the night, courtesy of Tango Paints and the entire team at Tango Paints on Twitter. And right now, it's going to be Jacob Wilkerson leading with 46 laps remaining, and the Dover Downs 130 coming out of the final stretch. One caution so far, largely green flag racing as the lap machines begin to battle each other. It's Andrew Chudy and Michael Deitch that are going to be side by side, going at one another right now for what would be the 8th position. Michael Deitch is going to hold his number 57 right down low. Looks like it's going to be Joey Stone not in the picture right now. These are the lappers as Stone got away. It's Andrew Chudy right now trying to break through as the number 9 held back by Michael Deitch, and Deitch holds on to that 8th spot. Andrew Chudy right now going to find himself in 9th, and Chance Parker in 10th. All these drivers from 8th on back are 1 lap down, only 7 drivers on the lead lap, and that goes to show how divisive as a strategy tonight it has been. It has not been all too straightforward, even with only 1 caution, a big division in who went down and when, and that's going to lead to very few drivers really in winning contention as it stands. Technically speaking, everyone is still in contention for the win, but at the same time, it's going to take a miracle to even get 1 lap back, let alone getting multiple back, because guys like Max Molina, Henry Kaloff, Hunter Bogdan, Brandon Riesmiller, and Lander Tower are all stuck multiple laps down, and right now it looks like there's a very little chance they'll ever get a chance indeed to get those laps back. Jacob Wilkerson has not had to worry about getting laps back. He's been the man up in front and is now leading laps. He's taken back the top spot, and he's looking to win his 3rd consecutive round opener, and technically his 4th of which. He opened up the season with a win, opened up the round of 15 with a win, opened up the round of 11 with a win, and now leads the way with 42 laps to go, and now the round of 7's opener could be his as well. Goes to show how good Jacob Wilkerson has been throughout the season, as he continues to be the dominant man in the campaign overall, and really makes you wonder whether or not anyone can get by Wilkerson for the championship. It's not a done deal. Remember, it's the Final 4 format, so even if he gets there all the way, he could still lose the title. But the dominance of Wilkerson cannot be understated, and he continues to show why he's up there fighting for the title either way. Now, Joey Stone is making some moves and trying to get back up to James Thurston. And it looks like, despite a misstep early, Joey Stone has made that time back up, and the number 4 machine is right there, just ahead of him. And in the sight of Joey Stone is James Thurston right now, and you'll see Stone is oh so close to making something happen with 39 laps to go. Time is running out, so you got to make that move now better than any other time. Better now than never. So the 8 machine's going to get right down low to the straightaway, gets a bit of a better run with momentum in mind, and takes it through 3 and 4 with a lunge. And that bottom groove really where you want to be to make that pass. And you can see how clearly that worked out as James Thurston opts to take it down a pit road this time by. He's going to surrender the battle and give it up to Joey Stone. Just like that, Thurston down and in this time through. And it looks like he's going to take his 1 remaining pit stop and split the remainder of this race. Quick move and quick thinking as James Thurston makes it down in, while Joey Stone runs away and continues to fight at the front of the field. Ethan Workman's going to get destroyed down on pit road, and coming down a pit road, big contact with the tire barriers, and it's going to be a huge hit as Workman gets pummeled there. Not major damage cosmetically, but as you saw, he's going to take that hit, and just like that, Ethan Workman sees trouble on the way down a pit road, taking it back an instant replay 1 lap's time. And we're going to watch on board with Workman here to find out what happened. He's going to make the call down a pit road, and it looks like something messes him up. He's going to get by Hunter Bogdan, presumably right here, right now. And that he does, but take a look at this as Workman sees trouble, and it's not going to be the tire barriers where he hits, but take a look either way. And very hesitant to make that move down and in, and it looks like he gets saved there by iRacing, who resets the damage immediately. But either way, Workman not going to be happy about that one as he gets things going once again. Damage looks to be minimal, but the contact is certainly going to leave a mark in his mind, if not on his Toyota Camry. Yellow flag not going to fly there because it looks like he's going to get it back sorted out. 35 laps to go. Ethan Workman real close to disaster as Jacob Wilkerson is the leader, 96 laps in out of 130, and now coming around with only 34 laps to go. And ever since he's taken this lead, Jacob Wilkerson by far has been the man to beat in this second run. James Thurston is right there. However, he's on a new set of tires, so really doesn't mean that he's fighting for the race win right now. He'll try to get that lap back and get on his way. He's 2 laps down as it stands as he goes up top. James Thurston coming off the back of a 47-second pit stop cycle, and now he gets through Wilkerson, making that time by and looking to get back up there very soon. Opts to go for the undercut to come down a pit road very quickly and very early, as opposed to waiting any longer and seeing whether or not a guy like Wilkerson will hold out as he has right now. The wait is on for Jacob Wilkerson, and the wait is of course far from over for all the drivers who are still out on the circuit. Guys like Joey Stone, Alex Jones, Ross Corlett, Dustin Pickle, and Chance Parker alike have all chosen so far not to make that move and so far to keep it on the track. So as it stands, Dustin Pickle going to be running in 5th, Ross Corlett in 4th, as he's going to be fighting now with Alex Jones to be the final man on the podium. And the podium battle going to remain fierce right now with 31 laps to go, just because these drivers are not technically in the top 3 overall when the cycle is concluded doesn't mean they can't fight right now, knowing no matter what, a position this high is a big deal in the late race running. So every track position before a pit stop could guarantee a track position coming out of pit road, could help you if you make a mistake, and if you can get those track positions, you can be a little more assured that no matter what happens on pit road, you'll get those spots back and remain competitive in the dying laps of this event. And here at Dover, where pit stops have been oh so critical, you can't afford to mess one up crucially as Alex Jones comes down to the bottom of the track this time by. It's Jones that comes in, takes Lander Taro as well, and Joey Stone also comes through. Number 8 machine going to be runner-up when he comes in, and now drops further and further down the board as we have ourselves now with 29 laps to go. A little left in the racing, and then we'll get down to who's going to have that advantage come the final 3 races of the season. Jacob Wilkerson down a pit road this time by, on the verge of going for 4 consecutive round opening victories with a round of 7 victory. Also going with his opening victory for the season, the round of 15 win, the round of 11 win, and tonight Ross Corlett also comes in the same cycle. Ross Corlett down and in this time by Dustin Pickle, stored as the leading driver, and the number 21 representing Maconi set up shop in their newfound partnership with CCH Motorsport head the field with 28 laps to go. Andrew Cootie comes in this time by, but Dustin Pickle opts to stay out, and the final laps are here and now in Dover. And you'll see now it's going to be Andrew Cootie rocketing down a pit road. His teammate Ross Corlett just got out, so cycles are real uneven because now only 3 drivers up at the head of the field have opted not to come down a pit road on this run. It's going to be Dustin Pickle, who does indeed come through this time by, and we were going to say Michael Deitch, but Deitch also comes in as well as Pickle nearly hits the wall and gets things going. Now Chance Parker, the last of which, 27 laps to go, and Chance Parker holds fort and has chosen not to come down a pit road. He is not done just yet, and the fight is still on for the number 42 rookie stripes and all as the Clorox Camry leads the way. Bogdan's going to bounce off the wall, and the 42 machine says nothing of it, of course. Right now, the Focus is leading these laps for a few more, and then he'll have to come down a pit road and give way to perhaps James Thurston with 26 laps to go. Thurston's got a huge advantage on the remainder of the field. Right now, 5.4 seconds up on Wilkerson, and it's a much different strategy call that puts him out here, and the question is whether or not it's the one that will win him this race when all is said and done. At the line, 25 laps to go, and Thurston's going to drop a 23.254 at the stripe. Still quick, but Wilkerson that time by was faster with a 23.096. So clearly right now, the gambling tire strategy, it paid off to this point for Thurston, but overall, we're still not quite sure who will have that benefit. Bogdan gonna wiggle once, twice, locks her down, and keeps things green. Bogdan has trouble, Chance Parker still leads, and James Thurston is making time fast with 24 laps to go. Time is running out for each and every driver here, and 24 laps to go, coming up oh so soon on the final run of the night. Pit cycle just about out of the way. Chance Parker, the only driver still holding on, as he comes around this time by a signal that he's got to come through very soon. It's in the back of his mind with 23 laps to go. As always, an FTN will crank it up with the best camera partners on the iRacing platform. TrackCams22.com, highest quality iRacing cameras. No matter what you need, no matter what racing discipline, they've got you covered with over 100 tracking car options. Check them out today at TrackCams22.com as we will crank it up now at the Dover Motor Speedway with 22 laps to go. And returning now with the final laps in play, 17 laps to go for James Thurston, who has an advantage right now just under 3 seconds. As it stands, Jacob Wilkerson is clawing away lap after lap, and 17 remain, so there's still an opportunity here for Jacob Wilkerson, but he's got to be a rocket ship to get it done. It was a 23.441 that time by for Thurston, and it was a 23.368 for Wilkerson, which means that Jacob has been quicker, but not substantially so. However, he's still chipping away. It goes from a 2.7 down to a 2.4 at the end of the most recent lap, and now 16 to remain. We've gone this far, and there's still a ways to go. And 115 laps in at a 130. The final few laps are just about here, and it's going to be Wilkerson way to the wall that time. He goes so wide that he's trying to make a move and just can't make much of it. So Wilkerson's going to get in damage in his hot pursuit of James Thurston, and that might be the death nail in his opportunity for chasing this number 4 down. 2 flat seconds, and it looks like now the Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsport number 4 has less and less reason to worry as he comes across the stripe. This time by, it's James Thurston leading with 14 laps to go, and from there you're also going to see Ross Corlette's going to be fourth. It's going to be then a caution flying on the circuit. The reason being, it's going to be Chance Parker, and just like that, with 14 laps to go, we've got ourselves a yellow flag in the final laps of tonight's events. After such a long green flag run, once again, it's going to be another opportunity. 42 machine of Chance Parker looks to be the second yellow flag cause of the day, and we'll see what causes this one in particular. Here is the yellow flag, almost absent for the entirety of this race, and coming back so late. Unfortunately, having some trouble here as Parker is going to come up the track, a little bit down at the bottom, slam the wall, and as he locks it down, it's going to be considered a safety yellow because he does drive up to the racing circuit. So he uses that embankment, gets up there, and that's considered a yellow flag worthy situation. Of course, because he came back on the racing circuit, that's how it goes. It was an overall tame incident, but getting back up there from the flat portion of the banking really seals the deal. So the yellow flag is out as a result, and we got ourselves a racing incident first and foremost, now a safety caution. And now 13 laps to go. As you'll see, James Thurston, you'll lead Jacob Wilkerson down and in, not to mention Joey Stone. Looks like Ross Corlett and Alex Jones also making it as well. Pit road is going to get busy once again, and this time by, looks like Dustin Pickle coming up there with the remainder of the field. It's going to be a much different scenario come the next lap, as with 12 laps to go, we find ourselves once again under caution, second time tonight, and big changes here as the field once again gets stacked up for a final run. Most of this race has been run under green flag conditions. However, already we're seeing changes in the final moments. Now, 12 laps to go is a very little time here in Dover, given how quick a lap is at about 24 seconds, if not less. There is no moment to make a mistake. And right now, if there's any mistakes made, you got to make them quick, and you got to recover as fast as possible. And right now, that just cannot minimize these drivers. Final 4 contenders, Andrew Cootie in particular, getting a lap back exactly where he needs to be. So he'll be inside of the top 10. And as they come through this time by, Andrew Cootie going to be 7th. Michael Deitch is currently scored in 8th. And there's sure to be some changes here as James Thurston gets back up to the head of the field. It is that number 4 machine of Thurston up in front, as here they will come again. The iRacing official pace car will lead them down and lead them in as they come through one more time. 12 laps to go. The iRacing official pace car lights remain on, and it doesn't do it becomes even less so, with James Thurston advantageous over Jacob Wilkerson, Ross Corlett, Joey Stone, and Alex Jones. Then from there, Dustin Pickle going to be in the mix as well, and Andrew Cootie going to be set to get back on the lead lap. Michael Deitch, in addition, going to be one of the drivers who benefits the most. 120 laps in out of 130. The Dover Downs 130, the opener of the round of 7, and it's been an exciting opening so far, and we are still not done yet, but a thrilling way to kick off the final rounds of the season. The penultimate round begins tonight, and live on FTN, the exclusive coverage of the FORL Cup Series continues, and we'd love to have you for the rest of the way. As always, here live on FTN, I've been your host for tonight's broadcast, David Kreutz, commentating and producing, and we're not done just yet at all, so keep with us here as we'll get back at it for the final few laps in Dover, Delaware. It's been a thrilling opening 120 laps. Now, time to decide a winner in these final 10, if not less here. You'll see the choose rule going to be put in effect, so 1 lap to green, this time by the apron going to be used to signify, of course, going down to the bottom, and the high side going to be staying on the racing surface. Thurston, Wilkerson, Corlett. Those will be your top 3 drivers in the final run. It looks like Joey Stone right up there as well. And we've got ourselves now a 10 to go scenario. It's going to come down to the single digits at the very most. We'll have 9 green flag laps left, although it looks like the caution slightly extended, which means we will have 8 laps to go. Only 8 laps to make it happen, so every moment's going to matter that much more because we're losing time in terms of getting those more caution laps in as opposed to anything else. The more yellow flags there are, what we haven't had made tonight, of course, the more racing time there is taken away, and when these yellow flags come late, it really changes the way this race goes. No matter how you slice it, these are the most intense moments of the night. And now with the pace car still on the circuit, looks like we'll be set to go back at it once again. 101 laps down. Joaquin Stewart is back on the track, by the way, so it looks like despite his early troubles, Joaquin has returned, and the number 79 machine is going to get an end-of-line penalty, so that might be part of the cause for an extended yellow as the number 79 rejoins the circuit once again. 100 plus laps down. Joaquin is not going to miss the end of this one, as now the iRacing official pace car is set to lead him. Next time through, it will leave him, and it's going to be an 8-lap dash. It might not be the end, but it's the scheduled distance, 130 laps. We will hit it in 8 laps time. And it all ends here and now if all goes to plan. Now, of course, the overtime procedure in FORL means we can extend this race need be. However, it's been a very clean race at Dover, and the opportunities to make it risky and aggressive have been slim. We've only seen 2 cautions, one of which was for a single car incident, the other of which for a multi-car incident that was caused by a race leader interfered with by lappers. So really, the odds are slim for seeing anything else happen, but nothing is impossible and nothing can be ruled out. The night is young, and we've still got time to burn. And we'll see whether or not we're going to burn it through with a final lap run just ahead of us. 9 laps to go. We made it 122 plus laps in already as the pace car leaves us this time by it's Thurston and Wilkerson, the dominant man of the night, set to lead us all over again to finish it off here in the Dover Downs. 130 green flag flies yet again with Thurston leading, and we're back on our way with 8 laps to go. Thurston gets the jump, and it's going to be Joey Stone working way down low. Now, Stone's going to be making the move for second, has that bottom groove, which is such a beneficial spot to be in, but Wilkerson holds it high and keeps the battle going. Thurston's going to make a major run out of the corner and lead the way clearly, and now to the championship spoiler, advantageous with Joey Stone second, Jacob Wilkerson then in third, Ross Corlett getting fourth, and Michael Deitch now going to be up there in the top 5 as Andrew Cootie scored in 6th. One driver in the wall, that's Joaquin Stewart himself. It looks like trouble for the driver, 101 laps down. 7 to go, this time by as Wilkerson is going to be in second. It looks like one driver wiggles, Ross Corlett saves it, and Joey Stone's in the wall. Michael Deitch makes it up to third, and Deitch makes a big move. 57 machine makes time, and just like that, inside the podium in a chaotic series of final events. Now it's Andrew Cootie also making time on the bottom side. Here's the number 9 machine as Andrew Cootie looks to make a move down low. He's chasing his teammate in Corlett, and up the track, Joey Stone gets much more loose as Cootie's going to drop down on the low side and get right through for his own right. So Andrew Cootie up to the top 5. Joey Stone now going to swish back into 6th. Like it's going to be even there. Ethan Workman at the same time. Now Cootie's going to get very loose and get run up the track with 5 laps to go. Stone makes the first move, and it might just be some late race aggression coming into play here as drivers beat and bang with the wall with now 4 laps to go. Cootie's going to get wrestled way up high. He won't be happy about that one. He nestles right back in, and he knows the fight is still on here with he and Joey Stone going at it for position. Now Cootie's finding himself down to the bottom, goes goes low, washes up, tries to intimidate Stone to go even higher, doesn't get much out of him. 3 laps to go, the battle persists behind, and Michael Deitch is now in third. Jacob Wilkerson is in the second spot, and Thurston is running away. Keep in mind this battle is still on, and this could be make or break for the championship run, because Cootie struggled all night long, and now puts himself in a great spot to keep himself in the title fight. 5th place for Andrew Cootie, much better than where he's been all throughout this event, and now with 2 laps to go, Jones is in the wall, and Alex Jones is going to see himself down the bottom. Max Molina gets washed up and nearly washes out of competition. Luckily no contact, and they're still beating and banging with just 2 turns to go to make it official. This time by James Thurston gets the white flag and makes it down with 1 lap to go. Ross Corlett now going to be chasing down Michael Deitch for a podium. Number 57, hesitant to let off the gas here as the top 3 battle persists, and James Thurston now has the edge through 3 and 4. The number 4 machine denied a shot to fight for the championship, knows he's still got a win or 2 left in him, and tonight he proves his point. James Thurston will win the Dover Downs 130, and the checkered flag will fly for the Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsport Ford Mustang once again. Wilkerson comes home for second, and Michael Deitch completes the top 3, holding off Ross Corlett in a dramatic turn of events. James Thurston will come around this time by and begin the celebration as we catch up to the number 4 machine. James Thurston, your winner, set to burn down the house here in Dover. And just like that, Thurston finishes the burnout, and his celebration gets a long time coming. Knowing the frustration of not being eligible for the championship, he'll come back and fight for a race win all the same. James Thurston will win by just over a second over Jacob Wilkerson, and Michael Deitch, your biggest mover, runs up into the 13th spot in qualifying, finishes the race on the podium. Then from there, Andrew Cootie finishes in 4th with Joey Stone rounding at the top 5, and it'll be Ross Corlett then in 6th, 7th with Dustin Pickle, and 8th Alex Jones. Then from there, 9th is going to be held by Chance Parker, and 10th is going to be Max Molina, 1 lap down with Henry Kaloff 11th, Hunter Bogdan 12th, Lander Tyrell then going to be in 13th, and Brandon Rismiller comes home in the 14th position. Not too far back from there, you'll see Joaquin Stewart, the 16th and final driver to make an attempt tonight, and when all is said and done, Thurston will come home in a victory lane in a thrilling turn of events here in the Dover Motor Speedway. Coming through, the number 4 machine will get it done, and the checkered flag is his. The Ford Mustang's been waiting quite a while to get back into victory lane. It's been a thrilling season, but Thurston knows it's a bit disappointing for him not being championship eligible. Either way, back on top, and the number 4 machine will get it done. Now the question is, who we got to talk to. Now, James Thurston looks to be in our waiting room, as is the remainder of the top three, so how's about we get him here and now as the number 4 machines, the first man we'll speak to. Race winner James Thurston comes back with a vengeance and wins in dominating fashion here from Dover. Checkered flag is yours. What is your thought, of course, after a long, hard-fought night in Delaware?
Yeah, I'm back. I wasn't really sure if I was going to do it or not, but I was bored. There wasn't anything else going on, so I was like, I'll go in there and just kind of spoil the show. Yeah, we did that. I thought it would be a little bit easier to go through the field than it was, but the Gigabrain strategy paid off. Yeah, there was no passing at all under green if you were behind someone. Just dirtier was absolutely absurd with these cars. But yep, we came back with a vengeance, won the race, and I don't know. We'll see. I guess we'll come back in 2 more weeks when I'm not suspended anymore, because I'm sure I'll get suspended over something again.
And Thurston will tell you this much, championship aspirations early in the season didn't come out to play that way, but you've got that race-winning speed. So how was it with the pole position in mind, knowing you could have gone all the way, and that you did, leading the most laps with the process?
Oh yeah, things were going a lot smoother until we got to the lap car of Andrew Cootie, and he decided to park his race car in the middle of the racetrack in front of mine, and gave us a little bit of damage. We had to fix like 30 seconds. That's why I was back in the pack. But yeah, if it would have went green there, I think we would have been a lot more comfortable. But we eventually used strategy, got back through the field, and once you get the lead here, it's game over for the rest of the field, no matter who you are.
Able to pull through after an end of a hard-fought night in Delaware. Now, we still got a few races on the schedule. Looks like a part-time campaign for you to finish out the season. What are your plans in coming back to end Season 3 and maybe go on to Season 4?
Well, not part-time by choice, but yeah, I don't know what the next few races are. I'll see if I can even race them. If I can, we'll come here and just have some fun. If we can't, then no big deal. But yep, thanks to Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsports, we came back here to win this race, and that's exactly what we did. Just happy to do that, and if people like leagues with like 50 or 60% fuel in the car, get some pit strategy. There's the original one that had that idea tomorrow, IORA. Everyone should tune in for that. And yeah, just a great finish for me and Power Smash Infinity Speed Motorsports. And yeah, thanks for the interview. Thanks for streaming.
And James Thurston getting it done tonight. The number 4 machine back in action. I'll tell you this much. If you got any final thoughts, let us know. Victory lane is yours here in Dover.
Yeah, I just want to clarify. I've never, well, I might have done this like once before with this combo, but I've never really done this for like an actual race with the next gen at Dover. And I don't know, I ended up winning the pole and leading the most laps. So I don't know. Certain people can say whatever they want. They can have fun with that. But the facts are, I did not practice for this at all. Didn't even practice in the session. Just ran 2 quali laps and got the pole and won the race. That's all there is to say.
As it comes through, with a victory lane in mind, James Thurston will get it done and win the Dover Downs 130 dominant performance all throughout. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
James Thurston pulls through with a checkered flag in hand, but only a few tenths of a second behind. Jacob Wilkerson continues his run as the leading man in the point standings, and again, a podium finish. Second place, so not quite where you've been to open up the past 2 rounds, but still the highest of all of your championship rivals, second place, as we do it all over again in Dover. How do you feel coming out here with a podium?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. Wish we could have had Thurston there if that yellow didn't came out. I was definitely catching him during that green flag run. I had fresher tires than him, and then of course that yellow came out, and that really screwed me. So we came in, got tires, and then I got stuck battling Joey Stone for second, and lost all the ground to Thurston. And yeah, this track, this race, it's pretty hard to pass here. The dirty air is pretty big. You definitely want to be in the lead most of the race with the clean air with this track, which the earlier parts of the race when I was leading. I was just driving away. And yeah, that's basically how this race has been. But I'm glad to open up the round of 7 with a podium, and hopefully we could keep this up at I think Vegas next week, and then make the championship.
And keeping the championship aspirations alive, you came in with the biggest advantage in terms of points and still right there for the taking. So really going to be comfortable for the next few races. The round of 7 is pretty solid already. What do you think it's going to take to keep going here as the next few races in the round progress already with a big buffer?
With the huge points advantage going into Vegas, I think all I have to do is just finish the race and I'm in the championship. Yeah, basically just got to keep the car clean. Just finish the race, like I said, and hopefully we go into Phoenix and just win the championship, hopefully.
And hoping to win the championship at Phoenix, the drive is still alive for Jacob Wilkerson and the number 43 team as he keeps things going here in Dover. It's a second place finish. Anything else you'd like to add after tonight's event?
Yeah, shout out to all the people watching. I gotta thank Todd for giving me the opportunity to race for PBR. Gotta thank my partners, Burn Rubber Racing Warehouse and McConey Setup Shop. And you for broadcasting. Yeah. Hopefully we can win Vegas next week. If not, we could just go into the championship and pull it off.
And already looking forward to the final round. The round of 7 already treating Jacob Wilkerson well, coming through with a second place finish here in the Dover Downs, 1:30. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And with Wilkerson on the move, one more driver who posed through with a very impressive top 3 finish is Michael Deitch. Able to avoid all the troubles late in the going, the Hendrick Cars number 57 comes back and gets himself a podium. Michael Deitch, you hold off and get it done. How do you feel after this one?
That was crazy, man. I did not think I would be able to pounce on that the way I did, but I'm glad it worked out for me.
And everything working out very well in the end of this one, and it looks like now already up at the front of the field you were in those final few laps. Then you see the trouble ahead of you, so how was it negotiating with the chaos to make stuff happen in the very end of it?
I just kept my line up against the wall coming out of 4, and then I see Joey get loose in front of me, and it just caused a whole stack up between Ross and Henry, and I just went where the hole was open and was able to capitalize on it.
And capitalizing when it matters the most, Deitch, you might not be involved with the championship fight, but you're still fighting up there, knowing every position matters in the final few races. So what's it going to take moving on from Dover with this momentum, looking forward to what is next?
Just keep doing what we've been doing all season long. First off, thanks to Noah Taylor for subbing last week and for giving me a chance, even though it didn't work out. But we just didn't keep doing what we've been doing all season long. Just keep fighting up there and racing with those playoff guys and try to get the best finish we can.
And hoping to keep fighting with the best of them, Michael Deitch pulls through for a top 3 finish, avoiding the trouble and holding off the best in the business here in the dying laps at Dover. Anything else you'd like to add after this event?
We're just gonna go into these 2 more races and, like I said, do the best we can.
And hoping to keep up at the front of the field, Michael Deitch will round down the top 3 tonight here in the Dover Downs, 1:30. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And the podium will conclude with Michael Deitch in number 57 coming home with that top 3. And as we mentioned again, Michael Deitch in 3rd, Jacob Wilkerson 2nd, and James Thurston, your winning driver at the end of the day here in Dover. Gonna thank you all for watching another thrilling race as Thurston will get it done. And James Thurston back on top, fighting where he knows he belongs, and shows us once again that speed and that number 4 undeniable. And just like that, Thurston will win the opening round here, the round of 7, just getting going. I've been David Kreutz, commentating and producing. We'll be back next Wednesday to keep the championship fight alive. It's more exciting than ever now. If you think your favorite driver still's got a shot at the championship, keep on watching. We're not done just yet. Dover It's the first race of the round of 7. We've still got 2 more to go, and then our season finale coming up at the Homestead Miami Speedway. We're less than a month out from seeing who will win the Season 3 championship. So we thank y'all immensely for your support tonight, as we'll bring you a few more promotional message, and then we'll sign off for good. Thank y'all for watching once again live on FTN, and we hope you have a fantastic night. This has been a presentation of the FORL Cup Series and the Dover Downs 130.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
This message is brought to you by the rebrand of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This publication may not be reposted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. NASCAR Camping World Ford F-150. NASCAR Xfinity Ford Mustang. NASCAR Cup Series Next-Gen Ford Mustang. Arca Menards. This has been the publication of the redesign and rebranding of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This message may not be reposted, republicated, or rebroadcasted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. Thank you, and thanks for your time.